All right, coming into this last part here, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the sound and capturing the sound. The sound is going to be one of the most important components to your video. Bad sound is not going to make the video good. I'm telling you, it's something that you need to spend some time on and understand. And I want to go through that a little bit with you guys right now. So the main types of sound that are captured are through a couple of different ways. Some of the main ways are going to be through a shotgun microphone. Now, this is a unidirectional, it's like a hyper-focused microphone. So what you can do is you can actually point that microphone at the person that you're trying to capture audio from. And what it'll do is it'll capture the audio from that person, but it'll block out a lot of the sound that's coming from the sides. So you'll see this sometimes on movie sets, or if people are trying to capture people walking or different background noises and you want to isolate that sound, that's a great option. So a shotgun microphone is a great option for capturing that sound. The other type of capture is going to be called a lavalier microphone. Now, this microphone right here is something that you actually pin. You pin to the individual. You've seen them all. You've probably seen them all the time on different interviews where people will have a microphone pinned on them. That's a lavalier microphone. And so what that is it's a good interview microphone where you're able to capture the content from that individual speaking very closely. Now, one of the downsides of that is sometimes it's visible, and if you want to keep it invisible, it's a little bit more difficult. And sometimes when they move around a little bit, it can kind of make a ruffling noise, right? One way to capture these two different types of audio is using something called an external recorder. So if you don't have a way of plugging the microphone into the camera, you can use an external recorder or external monitor, an external audio recorder, in order to capture the audio from the device. So let's say, for example, I have this right here, this microphone right here. I can have this XLR being plugged into an external recorder, and it'll capture all the audio for me. And then I can take that audio and sync it to the audio from the video that I captured. So that's a little bit more of an advanced way to do it, but it's one way to really capture good audio. Now, one of the things I want you to be mindful for is how to capture audio. And before you do any, you don't want to just look at the levels, right? You don't want to just look and see how high or how low it's going. You want to plug in some headphones and you want to listen to how loud or how quiet it is. You want to listen to the noise that's in the image, so that way you can actually hear. Maybe there's an air conditioner on that you wouldn't normally hear, but you can hear it in the microphone. The last thing you want to do is to record something and work on something all day, and then just to know that there's something in the background that's making the audio really bad. So having headphones is the first step, and make sure that you're listening to all the different ambient noises, making sure that it's not going to affect anything in a negative way, or it's not going to be something that's extremely bad where it ruins the video for you. The second component I want you to think about is monitoring the levels as they kind of they show up. So do some tests, some audio tests, testing 1, 2, 3, seeing where those levels fall, and making sure that when the person's talking a little bit louder, right? You want to make sure that it's not clipping the audio. And what clipping is it's when the audio goes too high and it sounds extremely distorted. Now, what you also want to make sure it doesn't sound too low to where you can't hear the person really talking, and it's kind of really low and it's not very good for what you're trying to do. So you don't want it to be too low either. And so by monitoring the range, making sure that it's staying, I usually keep mine about -10 dB, somewhere around there, -15. -6 is typically what people do, but I tend to be a little bit more on the safe side, so I try to keep it a little bit lower than that. But what you want to do is mainly you don't want it to clip. A lot of different audio devices will have something known as some type of regulator in there, where you can actually set that regulator up, and if it ever hits to near the top, it'll actually stop it for you. So that's another thing to look into. But those are more advanced features, and they tend to cost a lot of money. So with this beginner course, I want you guys to do things that are kind of in the entry level, things that aren't going to be super expensive or break the bank. But please keep those things in mind. If you don't have a shotgun microphone, I think that's a great one to kind of start with. You can always use the shotgun microphone for something like this, where you can plug it into, have it at the desk where you could talk into. The lavalier is something that I think is a little bit more advanced. But I think that the shotgun is a great microphone to start with, or like some kind of like desk stand microphone. That's not going to be super expensive, but just something that'll get you in the game and kind of get you some experience with using these microphones.